Listen, I don't know about you, but I started a business so I could do this. Travel, be with friends, be with family, create memories. I didn't do it to sit at the computer all day. I didn't do it so that I could just be in countless emails and Zoom meetings. I did it to create opportunities for myself and opportunities for others. So listen, if that's something that interests you, enjoying time with your friends, being out and about, definitely drop by Erica Williams' Classy Climb blog. Check out the YouTube channel. We've got over 2,000 videos of free information that's actually changed people's lives. People actually post their new jobs, their new careers, their new businesses all the time over at the channel. What's up, everybody? This is your girl Erica from the Classy Climb blog. Doing this pretty quickly. The sun's going down and the moon is going up. No, that's another song. But let's go ahead and talk about this real quick. And I'm going to do a part 2 to this. Right now, juicing mode, so brain's a little sharp. Let's get into it. Are you even in the real game? Land, services, service businesses, and media. Now, let's get into it. I watched a very disappointing clip, and this is why I have to do a part 2, because I want y'all to see some of this stuff. I had a very disappointing clip from the BET creator, Bob Johnson. And I always told y'all his wife was the business mind. He was not. He was just a man in the 70s and 80s who had a relationship. His 20% investor invested in BET. Several years later, that investor goes, I need that money out of that company because I need to give it to my kids, and my kids don't want to own BET. They don't want to deal with you. They don't want to deal with you, black man. They don't care. And instead of Bob Johnson going, hey, man, let me take a loan out against my mansion. Let me take a loan out against all my cars, all my other crap. I'll just pay you out and keep BET and have it be this amazing thing. Instead, Bob Johnson sells. So his wife, of course, when they divorce, gets half. Now, talking to Bob Johnson, 20 years later, he's like, I don't know why y'all so mad. I just looked at it as a business thing. And these are the type of people you have in our community who don't even realize the real game, right? That he was in the game. He was in media, right? And most of media and music was controlled by Jewish people. He played himself right out the table because he didn't understand the real game. He just wanted to be at events and play golf and chase booty and have money. Now, how do I know that? Erica, you can't say such things. That's horrible. Don't talk about Bob Johnson that way. I want you to understand this. When Bob Johnson was done with BET, he never became a billionaire again in his life. His wife ended up becoming a billionaire. Now you're going to say, well, Erica, she married the judge who helped her get divorced. The judge who divorced her had enough common sense to go, that's a great woman right there. Let me go grab her. Then she goes to Virginia, to an up-and-coming town, and does what? Starts a resort. What are you? Boy, I tell y'all. I want to go deep dive on this, but I'll save some of this for part 2. Why? People are like, why are you having these resorts for black people? That's silly. Because there are still places that you're spending $500 to $1,000 a night to go to, and they don't want your black A there. They don't want your Mexican A there. They don't want your Latino A there. They don't want you there. I went to an event and I was talking to this woman, and her mother is as black as my pants, and my pants are black right now. And I said, oh yeah, I saw your mom. I said, oh, she must be Dominican. Black, ha ha ha. She said, oh, I'm not black, I'm Latino. Immediately in my conversation with her, I looked at her differently. Your mom is as black as my pants. You're black. Your country of origin is Latino. Okay? So I see this daily where people are like, look at I'm Korean, I'm part this, I'm part that. I am also, I'm Native American, I have tribal cards, all that other good stuff. But I know phenotypically, when you see me, I'm a black person, okay? Now you can say, Erica, that doesn't matter. You teach good information on business. Half my phone calls are between Asian, Latinos, and other people. It doesn't matter. It's not about race at this moment. But I want you to understand, if you don't know the game, you don't realize you're at the table, okay? Prime example. When I talk about land ownership, people act like, well, who wants to do that? I need money reoccurring in my pocket right this moment. I can't make it if it's just land, Erica. The land needs to pay me. Not knowing once you own land, that is your paycheck. That is your currency. There's a 3% rule in Texas. 3% of the people control the state's politics. And what is that 3% rule? I shared a video for y'all to watch it. That 3% rule is the people who are old, elderly, and landowners. Let me say that again. Old, elderly landowners. They're going to show up to every election. And if 72-year-old Miss Barbara, who owns 50 acres and cows on it, doesn't want marijuana or gambling in the state of Texas, it will never happen. No matter how Mark Cuban sells his Mavericks to this billionaire, if the billionaire can't convince enough people to vote, that 3%, the Dallas Mavericks will eventually be the Las Vegas Mavericks. You dig what I'm saying to you? Now, I want you to understand. Now, you're going to say, Erica, stop with all the land stuff. Land. You know, you got to pay property taxes. You never really own it. Do you not realize the Queen of England's family still owns every single beach in Jamaica? Jamaica doesn't own its beaches. No matter how the Jamaicans want to slander black people and everybody and their mom, and I'm not here to do the dysphoria talk, but the Jamaicans don't own their beach, but they're independent. Let me say that again. The Queen's family has granted you the ability to walk on Jamaica's beaches via their resorts. So Jamaica, even though it has an Independence Day, is still paying the Queen's family. Not England, the Queen's family. Okay, let's go there. All right. So I don't let people from the islands talk smack to me in America because y'all don't even own your beaches. Okay, so just stop that. Now, why am I talking about land? Why is it so important? People got on boats that could sink at a time in America, in a history where men got lost at sea and boats sank and whole families died, got on boats, came to America to own land. Don't let them tell you it was about religious independence and all that goofy stuff. It was about land. Okay? Why are Puerto Ricans upset right now? Land. Right? Yeah. You know, DC area. Why is stuff not being built? The elderly vote against it. Okay? All right? So exactly, that THC loophole, that 3% in Texas said, no, thank you. We don't even want you guys having gummies, pain relief. We don't want you having creams you can rub on your elbows at your 90-year-old self so you can have pain relief. None of it. We had a mass of white people leave to Colorado 10 years ago out of Texas. And here it is again. All right, so let's keep going. They left England to come here for land. They came to America and realized we can go out west and stake our claims. They have a movie out called Sarah's Oil. It is absolutely atrocious. An Iranian wrote the movie for a black woman who inherited oil and made her daddy look like a dummy. If you know anything about the Sarah family, Sarah Rector, her, back then, if you were Indian or black, they didn't let you make business decisions. You had a benefactor. You had a guardian they assigned you from the government when it came to land and business, because you're too stupid to know about land and business, of course, right? But this only applied where there was oil, okay? So that man stole $24 million from her, built a whole mansion, while Sarah Rector and her family were living in a shack, receiving $11,000 a month, okay? Now, $11,000 a month is $300,000 a month in American money, nowadays money, okay? And so when you watch that movie, it's full of lies because an Iranian made it. This is why having control of your media matters. This is why I still make a YouTube channel after 12 years. And you're saying, Erica, if you do certain things, your channel would grow. Listen, baby, I've been to all the VidCons. I've been to all the Vid Summits. There's a combination of things going on here. They want certain type of media. They want coonery, clownery, fighting, terrible things. If you're Asian and you want to talk about money, your channel will blow up. If you're Asian and you're in California, your channel will blow up. If you're Asian and you're in New York, your channel will blow up. Trust me, how do I know? Agencies are paying people, which nobody wants to talk about this, but this is, you can find this on YouTube, you can Google this, paying you to go look at apartments in New York, go look at apartments in Las Vegas and say you're moving to New York. Right? Old media still wants to control Las Vegas and New York and California. Okay. So if all these people are running around for land, why are and again, I'm going to step on some toes, so prepare yourself. Why are the Masons, the Stars, the Deltas, the AKAs even have a bank? Did you know that? They put all their members together and started a bank. Okay. So did the Deltas. Okay. And the Hebrew Israelites and all these people got y'all majoring in stuff that does not matter. The Nation of Islam, the American version, the Farrakhan version, they own farms all over Mississippi and Alabama. So much so that they take young men who come out of prison in New York and New Jersey and some of the northern areas and send them down to Alabama and Mississippi to work on farms that they own. The Nation of Islam sells beans, sells food. Their people will not go hungry if there is a problem. That is true organization. We don't talk about that because Farrakhan says no words. Okay? So again, the real power is again in what? Land. If I can starve you, if I can starve your people, if I can cut off your media, I have control over you, correct? Correct. Okay? So we have a lot of our Black people who are very smart, essentially running around, majoring in goofy stuff, becoming deltas and AKAs and all this stuff. And when you ask them, that's right, Delta and DC's own a retirement home they rent out to elderly Black people. This is absolutely correct. Thank you for sharing. The comment section's on fire. I love y'all. Thank y'all for the information. So when I tell you land is important, and you guys go, who wants to do that? Who wants to own land, Erica? That's hilarious. Let me tell you, I'm in North Carolina right now, and I go all around the state trying to buy land. Do you know who's there when I try to buy land? Hundreds of Jewish people from New York. Hundreds of Italian people from New York. Hundreds of people from where? Connecticut. Hundreds of people from LA. Right? Right? So when you guys sit here and say, who would want to buy land? Trust me, the hundreds of people that are competing against me when I do auctions, when I do bids, when I go find land. This is why when we say the grifters, the gurus and all the people, when real estate's easy to make money and you're flipping houses, look at all the wholesalers that were wholesaling like off the chain a couple years ago. They're broke. If they didn't save any of the land, they're broke. Yeah. I, while owning properties in Detroit, received a call every single day from Islamic people from Dearborn who wanted to buy the land the houses were on. Now, who rents all the houses in Detroit that are still in town? Black people. Liquid money is what they call us. I don't think y'all know that. I'm definitely doing some trolling today as I talk to y'all, so enjoy. But the Hebrew Israelites aren't talking to you about that. They're trying to tell you, do you know who you are? And let me be very clear. If your mommy and daddy didn't tell you who you are, you aren't smart enough to go on Ancestry.com and type in your damn grandma's name. God bless you. You're going to have a lot of life problems anyway. Searching endlessly for who you are in an accumulation phase in your life is dangerous. Now, what is an accumulation phase? From your 20s to you're about 45, you're accumulating. You're grabbing all you can grab. You have great energy. You're fighting the good fight. You're working hard. You're changing jobs. You're changing careers. From about 50 to 75, you're in chill mode. You're chilling. You're not trying to run around and buy a bunch of houses. You're not trying to do a bunch of stuff. But guess who I see when I go to buy land? 50-year-old white men, 50-year-old Jewish men, 50-year-old Muslim men. Not a lot of 50-year-old Black men. It's unfortunate because this is a time in America where owning land puts you in the game. If you talk to me about your Mercedes and you don't own land, I'm not talking to you. If you talk to me about your Jeep, your truck, your new apartment, look at my marble counters in my apartment, and you don't own land, I'm not talking to you. At this point in life, unless you're talking to me about land and owning businesses, I really don't have much to say to you. It's not worth it. You don't even know you're in the game. Okay? I just saw kids over at Walmart when I drove by. I don't go in Walmart. It's dangerous. It's for dangerous people. As I drove by Walmart to go to my ATM, there were kids begging for money to play football, to get hit in the head repeatedly, and their parents, a whole 53 roster of parents, can't seem to come up with, can't seem to put it together, right? Enough money for a set of kids to go have uniforms and play games. If you guys in a group of 50 parents can't figure out how to get your children uniforms and play game, me giving you money is nothing. Okay, you should go find Black business owners who will feel bad for you and Asian business owners who feel bad for you and will give you money because that's what you need. You guys are majoring in making sure your children play football and you have no money. This is crazy. It's absolutely insane. Then I saw white people selling puppies at Walmart. Selling puppies. Yes, unfortunately, selling puppies at Walmart. I saw people selling outside, no permits, food at Walmart. I saw people selling clothes in the parking lot at Walmart. I said, damn, am I in a third world country? No, this is America. And the smartest thing y'all could think to do was sell puppies at Walmart. Yay! Congrats. Good luck. Now, if you're always in survival mode, I understand. You've made bad choices. You're an adult. Life is kicking your ass. I'm really sorry. But guess what? Majority of land I try to buy out here. Hey, what's up, DFW AI Tech? DFW, Austin, Texas, Houston, Texas, Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. You would think if I'm in little nowhere, those lands should be 10K to 20K. No, they're going for 50 to 50, 40 to 55K. Why? Why do I see that number over and over again? Because that's just about the right number that most Americans have not saved, don't have it in their pocket. And when they go to the bank is still going to require you to have half. They're going to require you to have half. Thank you for supporting the channel. I'll show it on the page. You're right. I'm 63 making 10 to 50. There you go. Congratulations. Okay, congratulations. Now, I want you to understand, why is the land priced like that? Why are they pricing that land like that? They know you can't afford that and you haven't saved any cash. They know that. Okay. So what does that do? That opens the door for what? New Yorkers, Californian, and Chicago people to come down with their money. Or unless you do what? Get in a team of people and y'all combine together to buy. Now you're going to say, well, Erica, but in the land grab course, you talk about buying tax deeds. Yes, you can go on tax deeds. You're going to be at a price point from 10K to 25K. Do you have that on a credit card? Do you have that in your bank? Can you acquire it? That's why I don't talk as much about tax deeds, because so many wealthy people have now come in. Now, are there still stuff you can get for 500 and 1,000? Yes, but it will be in the hood and you will be risking your capital. Congratulations. Okay, let me keep going. Do you know Rocky Balboa? Rocky Balboa, yes, the dude who plays Rocky, who's 77 years old, still acting on TV. Why is he still acting? He does not own the rights to Rocky. Why is he so mad about Creed movies? Because he does not own the rights to Rocky. At the time he was petitioning from a broke position to have the rights to Rocky, they said, let me tell you what we're going to do for you. This is an Italian white man. The Jewish people said, we're going to let you get $1 million to portray Rocky, and we're going to let you have some producer rights. So you get some reoccurring income when it plays on TV every day, right? Because Rocky plays on TV 24/7. All the Rocky movies do. But guess what? There's an old Jewish man who's 97 years old who owns the Rocky rights. So that's why the Creed movies could go on, and Rocky was pissed. Sylvester Stallone does not own those rights. To this day, he's crying, saying his 3 daughters need the rights to those movies. That's not fair. He wrote the movie. He acted in the movie. But sir, you had a Jewish lawyer who shook hands with his Jewish friends. They were in the game of media. You were not. Now, don't cry for Sylvester Stallone. He's rich beyond all wildest belief. He is worth millions on millions of dollars. When he dies, his daughters will be fine. Okay? Second person, Kevin Bacon and Kira Sedgwick. They lost $35 million to Bernie Madoff. How the hell did Kevin Bacon and Kendra Sedgwick lose $35 million? Every time they act in movies, they don't take a paycheck. What they do, they get the executive producer rights so that they are rich like the Jewish people. Okay? Now, when they realized Bernie Madoff had ran off with their 35 mil, you know what they did? They took out a piece of paper and they wrote up a show. Kira Sedgwick wrote up Major Crimes. The Closer. It played on TV for the next 12 years. Sylvester Stallone is Jewish, but if you ask in the eyes of Jewish people, what is Sylvester Stallone? His mother's Jewish, but come on, let's knock it off. You know what I'm saying? He's Italian, okay? Whatever your daddy is, he's Italian, okay? So on top of that, why does all this matter? Kira Sedgwick and Kevin Bacon were able to get back up another $100 million by owning the rights. This is how you play the media game. When Quincy Jones said, if you're black and you don't own the rights to your music, you're just a temporary musician. Black people got mad, but Quincy was telling the truth. Why? Quincy Jones was able to give his $100 million to his half-white, quarter-white, and basically white children. That's right. No longer in black hands. Those girls are white as snow. It doesn't matter because that money is gone. Okay? Now, something Chris Rock said that was a joke, but it means the world. Chris Rock said if Bill Gates woke up with Oprah's money, he'd jump out a window immediately. Yes, he would. The man who writes Shaq's checks are wealthy. Shaq is rich though. Okay. So again, there's two seasons in life: growth mode and chill mode. Okay. Cash flow and long form. Those are two types of businesses. Many of you are saying, Erica, why do you still do YouTube? Why do you still do phone calls? Why are you owning a construction company that does projects? Because I take that money and I put it in long form projects. Stuff like my supplement company, stuff like my construction stuff and my real estate stuff. Why? Because that is how the game is played. You have a job. You're supposed to take the coins they give you from your job and put it into long-term investments. You didn't know that? You've been taking all the coins from your job and putting it into your house and your cars and car payments. I just watched a thing the other day on a guy who helped get rid of a timeshare. The guy said he was paying $800 a month into timeshare locations. And he realized I could take that $800 a month and own a whole real estate property. Yeah, he could. It's true. Okay. Let's keep going as I keep trolling today, because YouTube wants you to be a smiling Negro that tap dances, and I'm not. So here we go. Land and assets that pay. That's all that matters. That's the big game. What is BlackRock doing right now? BlackRock is buying HVAC and electrical companies. BlackRock is buying farmland, and BlackRock is doing water infrastructure. Why is this important? This is important because I want you to understand, if I can raise the prices on how much it costs to fix your heat and air in your house, how much it costs to do the electrical in your house, right? If I can control the farmland around you, baby, I own you without owning you. If you meet a black person today and you talk about land and they go, who wants that? I want you to run in the next direction. You do not have your life. You don't have time. You don't have the energy to spend the next 4 years convincing some black person they need to own land when their own grandma is getting put in homes, when their own grandma is getting put out on the street. You don't have time. You do not have time to convince people who are renting they need to own land. We don't have time. The next 24 months for me is getting millions of dollars in land. I know, crazy, right? It's because I know the true value. I live in Texas. I've watched families who own 1,000 acres in Texas not care what the vote is. They don't care who the president is. They don't care who anybody is because they own 1,000 acres in Texas. They control parts of Texas. You have white people who are 5 generations deep into Texas, who own no house, who own no land, trying to tell you they're the biggest, baddest Texan. You're not. You are a poor white person who are just in Texas. Thanks for working. Now the sun wants to be a bee, so we're going to block a little bit of that sun. Okay? You got to pay attention. All right? Let me see what you said here. Oh, for sure. For sure. I see some of your comments. I'm not ignoring y'all. Okay? I just am trying to read it. Okay? Yep. Let me keep going. All right? Let me keep it on rolling. All right? So listen, if I know BlackRock is buying HVAC companies, electrical companies, water infrastructure, and farmland, what would I like to invest in? What are going to be things on my mind? What are things I'm thinking about? If anybody can, while we're on the live stream, help me out. I posted on my community wall a list of the cities that young millennials are moving to. Could someone put some of the name of those cities in the chat? Give me a little help. I don't have my second phone in the car. The rare opportunity, I just don't. But if you could, I'll appreciate that. Okay. Now, let me tell you about land and why it's important and your ownership, infrastructure. Okay. Did you know in London, there's an embassy for the Republic of Texas? Did y'all know that? It's no longer in function. I mean, from 1842 to 1845, the Republic of Texas had a whole embassy office. Now you're going to say, well, why does that matter, Erica? It's been closed. It still has it. They kept it historic. They keep the location as is. Thank you. Nashville, Alabama, Texas, Carolinas. That's correct. They keep it that way because what you have to understand is there are countries right now trying to put embassies in the United States. Why? Because that's how you show your position of power. That's how you show we're working with you. Everybody's coming to America. Yemens, Syrians, what do you call that? Syrians, Iraqis, Somalians and their scamming asses, and Nigerians, the king scammers. They're all coming to North Carolina and Texas and all these places, and they're buying what? Land. What are they doing? Buying houses. That's right. Thank you so much, somebody. Denver, Atlanta, Miami, Salt Lake, Phoenix, Raleigh, Tampa, Boise. Why those cities? Those are those second tier cities I was telling you about where young people can buy what? Land. People move where they can do what? Buy land. People move where they can do what? Buy a house. Because you sitting in an apartment and having a new car is retarded. It's retarded. You showing me your brand new BMW and your apartment on Instagram and YouTube is retarded. Yeah, I used the harsh words because I'm running out of nice words to use. You are playing someone else's game. All your disposable refund, your tokens that you get from your job, that is your money, that is your cash flow, you're putting into an apartment you don't own, in a car that you can wreck at any time because these people out here don't know how to drive. If you're in Atlanta with a new car, God bless you. Have you seen how they drive in Atlanta? Have you seen how they drive in Houston? They don't love themselves. Okay, they don't. South Sudan has an embassy in DC. Correct. South Sudan is trying to play the game. Please help us. Are they going to help South Sudan? Probably not. Probably not. Okay. It's not to their benefit. Now, accumulation phase that I talked to you about 20 something years old to 45 years old. I don't care what you guys say to me. Energy levels, food, and age matter. The reason y'all just think Warren Buffett is so nice because you haven't met Warren Buffett at 20 to 45 years old. Warren Buffett was a savage. And I don't mean Megan Thee Stallion. I mean savages. I'll take your money, I'll take your house, and I'll take your company. You don't know that Warren Buffett. Just like when we seen Queen Elizabeth, we thought of somebody's grandma. We didn't think about her and her soldiers beating the shit out of people in multiple countries to the point that every single country in the world almost has a British Independence Day. Thank you, Britain. Thank you so much. Okay. So we saw them in their chill mode phase, 40 to 52. Warren Buffett buying Dairy Queen. We saw him eating ice cream. Somebody's pop eating ice cream. Did you know Warren Buffett has a second wife? That's right. He has his first wife and he has a second wife. And they're all friends at the current time right now. He's a polygamist, which is illegal in America. But who is going to charge Warren Buffett? Nobody. Because we think he's a pop. Okay. So if I've told you about HVAC and electrical, I've told you about farmland, I told you about water infrastructure. What are some of the things you should be doing this year to get in the game? I don't care if you buy an acre of land an hour outside of town. You are now officially in the game. Okay? I don't care if you have an LLC and all it does is make $10K a year. You are now in the game. As long as you work at a job, you are not in control. The control you have is to take yourself from one job to another job. The control after that is what you do with your money. Did you see what happened to Fidelity when people started letting auto, and I would say this way, AI advisors work with their money? Fidelity started locking people out of their accounts. Because how dare you go get an advisor outside of Fidelity? I'm talking about hundreds of thousands of accounts, not few. Go look it up. Don't believe me? Go look it up. Getting your money up to invest is the only thing that matters. Partly so, partly so. But I just want you to understand, if you don't recognize the game in front of you, you'll go out in this world, you'll bust your butt, you'll cry, you'll be mad at school teachers, you'll be fussing, you'll be carrying on and upset, not realizing none of that matters. Oh, that's good. Hold on a second. Oh, that's good. They did a good job. Now you say, Erica, you're supposed to be juicing and fasting. I totally am juicing. Don't get twisted. Okay. But We need a little sugar. Our glucose is low, okay? Now, why am I talking to you about this? You're going to say, Erica, I just want to come on YouTube and make products, digital products online. Ah, I started that way. And guess what I realized? There's no friction. It's very frictionless to come online and post videos. It's very frictionless to start an LLC and have one bank account. It's very frictionless. Where did the friction happen? When I started taking my YouTube money. Okay. Stop it. Don't you do that. Don't you make me block you. When I started taking my money and wanting to buy land at tax deeds and tax liens auctions, and I started running up against hundreds of old white men at these auctions. We weren't there, but they were. Now, why do you think they've started to have these campaigns against wholesalers? Because wholesalers talk directly to the landowners and can put a contract together directly without a middleman like a realtor. I love realtors. I'm using multiple realtors. But they can do that and get a lower price. They don't like that. They don't like that. Prime example, and Brandy's in here. Congratulations. Yeah, Brandy's in here. Why do they not like cash at the bank and on your banking books? Right? My accountants used to go crazy when they saw just, where's this cash coming from? Where's this cash deposit coming from? Are you selling drugs? Are you selling women? Where is this cash coming from? They don't like that. They like when you keep swiping your debit cards. They like when you go to these restaurants where everybody's swiping the debit card. Because if I take $50 cash and I go to the farmer's market and I give him 50, and he goes and he does some other stuff and pays somebody 50, it's the same $50. But if we swipe our cards, bank gets $1.50. Farmer takes his card, bank gets another $1.50. Go over there, they get $1.50. Before you know it, the bank has the $50 back. Isn't that something? That's why when all you talk to me about crypto and tokenization and they're going to do all this stuff, hey, guess what? That's still probably 5 years away. And you need to get your money up anyway. You're talking to me about something that's potentially 5 years away, which I'm not ignoring. I am very much a trend, a pattern recognition person. But what I know about your pattern and your habits is you will do nothing. You will blame it on the kids. The kids will become 18 years old. You'll wake up and say, Erica, I don't know what to do next. Because your whole life, you were like, the kids, sandwiches for the kids to the school, wake up, get the kids on the bus. Okay, what else do we do with the kids? This is why I'm on the phone with constant people who have kids who are 17, 18, have no desire to hear what you have to say as a parent. Because you didn't gotta give them a long-term plan. You maybe took them to Disneyland, you maybe this and that, but there's no long-term plan. Do you know what my nephews and my cousins ask me about? What's the next move, Erica? What are we buying? Are we going to buy a beach house? Are we going to buy a blueberry farm? What are we going to buy, Erica? What do you think about this stock, Erica? What do you think about me going on Robinhood and trading, Erica? My family members ask me financial questions because I talk with them about finances. They talk to me about their taxes because I talk to them about the future. You have to talk to your kids about the future. If you don't talk to your kids about the future, they don't want to talk to you and they don't think what you have to say is valuable. They're watching you every single day. I don't think y'all understand. These kids are watching you every single day. They keep asking, Erica, what do you think about this stock? I go, baby, where'd you hear that from? I was on Reddit and somebody said it in a post. I said, wait a minute. Let's go look it up on Yahoo Financial. Now they looking at me, Yahoo Financial, that's for old people. That's what they say, that's for old people. I go, we have to research. We can't just drop our money in anything. Let's go research. So why are the young people talking to me? Because I will actually listen to them and talk to them about future plans. When they see you are in chill mode, you're smoking weed all day, you're not active, right? You're not walking in your neighborhood, you're not trying to do something different, right? I talk to them about medicine and herbs and, cooking and don't take shots and all this other stuff. They actually want to know. That's interesting. You actually give a crap about what I think. Let me tell you some more. What's happening out here is a lot of kids are watching you do nothing. And so they don't want to be bothered with you. I saw some wholesale kits from Alibaba per your advice. There you go. There you go. I just want you to understand. Your wife is watching you. Your husband's watching you. When you tell me, Erica, I want to do this stuff and my family doesn't support me, they don't want to do what I'm doing. If you have very strong conviction and you keep moving forward, your family does what you say to do. And I know you're gonna think, Erica, that's just your family. No, no, no. I promise you. If you're solid and you keep pushing forward and you keep being serious, your family does what you want to do. Your spouse goes, all right, baby, let's tackle this together. Show me what you're looking at. How'd you come to that conclusion? If you have a spouse that doesn't care, God bless you. Love them, cherish them anyway, but God bless you, because that's horrible. What that tells me is either you're not consistent or they've watched you not be consistent. One thing my family knows for sure, for 10 years in a row plus, I will do this YouTube. I will be out here. Why am I doing this YouTube, this little YouTube channel? I've made millions of dollars off YouTube. I've taken that money, invested it in trucks and assets and real estate. So when my family says, why are you doing those videos? I go, see those trucks outside? You see those rentals in other states? The biggest part, you see how I bought seafood for everybody for dinner? Hundreds of dollars of seafood. You see how I'm able to just take off months at a time? You see how I'm able to go to a new city and pick up a piece of land if I want to? It comes from this YouTube. That's what it comes from. It comes from talking to people, investing in people, investing my time. There's nothing you create out here that y'all going to create in 60 days and it just goes absolutely crazy. This is a 10-year brand. I had a friend who said, Erica, I'm struggling. My business is struggling. This is struggling. I said, let me tell you what happened. You're spending too much time at the hookah. You're spending too much time in the club. You're spending too much time on the beach. So when people want to come to you with advice, yeah, you can tell them all the restaurants. You can tell them all the beach. You can tell them where the baddies at. You can tell them where the club at. But they don't come to you for business advice. Why? Because they are looking at you. They're watching you. Y'all don't come to me for ab advice. I ain't got abs. Y'all see me in person. Stop playing with me. I'm doing the best I can. I'm taking all the herbs. I'm drinking the juices. I'm doing what I can do. Okay? It's a full-time job worrying about yourself. But listen, people watch what you do. They watch you be consistent. I had a friend talk to me and he was like, man, damn, you might be a billionaire. I said, no, I ain't gonna be a billionaire. That's different level. That's different level. You gotta have the right vehicle. But I'm gonna be multi-millionaire. Give me about 2 more years. And he said, you just don't give up. I said, why would we give up? Because American Express didn't give us a certain type of credit card? Who gives a shit? Because a bank wouldn't approve our loan? There's 1,500 banks. Do you know how many times I get on the phone with y'all and y'all be like, one bank turned me down. It turned me down, Erica. I'd be like, there's 1,500 banks. Who gives about one bank? Let's go to another bank. Let's go to another bank. And they look at me crazy like, but Erica, let's go to another bank. Erica, I wanted to buy a stock, but now Google or y'all talk to me about Elon Musk forever. Tesla is expensive. I go, ain't there other stocks? Ain't there other stocks we can read and study? Erica, I want to move to Texas, but everybody I know over in Dallas, I don't want to be with them. Who says you're going to be with them? There's millions of people living in Dallas. So what? You might run into somebody you knew from LA. Go do what you came to do. What do you mean? What do you mean you're not moving somewhere because you might bump into somebody? That's like saying I would go to Atlanta, but I'm going to bump into a black person. You will. There's a lot of them there. But do they own anything there? No. 29% of black people own houses inside the city of Atlanta. Yes, the black Mecca. Now you can say, well, Erica, everybody don't want to own a house, man. You know, you ain't got to do that. You ain't got to say it like that. Listen, guess what? If you don't want to own a house, no problem. You should own some stocks. You should own some art. Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know about stocks, Erica. Do you own some art? No. Oh, no art. Oh, the walls at your house is bare. Okay. Do you own any watches? Nah, I got an Apple Fit watch. Like we gotta own something. That's the game. Is ownership and management. Why is the light disrespecting me right now like this? This is just disrespectful. It's disrespecting me. Let me tilt my head a little bit. Okay. I'm gonna wrap it up here because I'm gonna go cook me some Korean beef at the house. Cause I tried to juice it all day, but I need some real food. Okay. So listen, what do I want you to take out of this video? What do I want you to learn? If I do my training, I think I'm doing all of them on Sunday. I already know y'all are like, Erica said Sundays for football. Sundays for football. It is. Sunday is for football. It surely is. Don't let me, don't let me hold you. All right? Because Sunday's for football. That's what y'all gonna tell me. Okay? But I want you to pay attention to the cities that we listed in our name on the channel. It's so different. Look at this. Look at this light. Look at this. Let's tilt the camera a little bit. There we go. There we go. I'm trying my hardest, y'all. I don't have my other phone on my tablet. It's terrible. Okay. I want you to understand. You need to figure out if you need a cash flow company, which is a service business. I know. Some of you asked in one of the videos, maybe 2 videos ago, what do I still think about government contracts? The government will still need a brown person. The government does nothing. Let me just clear you out here. The government does nothing. What it says is, oh, people need housing. Who can we pay to get those juveniles some housing? Who can we pay to get them elderly people some housing? Who can we pay for living assistance? The government does nothing. You want government housing? Go to jail. You want government housing? Go live in Section 8. No, the project. Section 8 can be a regular house. Government does nothing. You want some government services? Go in the military. That's why when people say we need universal health care, have you seen how they run the DMV? Have you seen how, as a military person, how fast the VA works? And y'all up here tomorrow, we need more government. We do? Or just you? I'm gonna close it out here. If you meet a black person and they're talking to you about racism, I'll be like, I feel you, brother. Yeah, the racism is terrible. Yeah, that can be. Ask them in the last 5 years, have they bought a house? No. Ask them in the last 5 years, have they got even pre-approved to buy a house? Ask them in the last 5 years, have they been gambling on these sports apps? Ask them in the last 5 years, have they downloaded Robinhood? We just had COVID. It was 6 years ago at this point, technically. But I don't think you understand how massive COVID was. There were so many millionaires being created every single day who were coming up with masks, disposable forks, disposable bowls, all kind of healthcare products, disposable products, right? There's a thing, and I'll do it on my part 2 of this video. There was like 50,000 patents that came out right after slavery till about 1920 from black people. The only other group that did that many patents was Germans in Switzerland. That's it. Because we're what? Our hands are in the mix. If we're actively doing something, we're actively building something, we're actively growing something, that's in the mix. Why are Latino Americans becoming so wealthy in America? And you're gonna say, Erica, no, they're not wealthy. Listen to me. Why are Latino Americans becoming so wealthy in America? They are in the mix. You need something fixed, you need something cut, you need something maintained. They're here. Now I can tell you right now, and where I'm at in Fayetteville, every day I drive by, there's a black man cutting grass. A whole professional lawn care kit. There's a black man working on roofs. It just depends on the city. I can go to Atlanta right now. They got black people in construction. Okay? Working together, but also they're willing to hire. These young people ain't trying to hear you because you smell good and you're dating a 20-something-year-old woman and you 50 and you got a fast car. What can you do for him? That's what they're looking for. So the real game is, I have land, which what I can put housing on. I can do certain things with. I can turn it to storage. I can do all kind of stuff with land. I can grow trees, cut the trees down. I can do farming. There's some black women that want to farm. They want to be sharecroppers. They can come do sharecropping on your land. Service businesses. People will need their roof fixed. People will need their HVAC fixed. People will need electrical fixed. And so here is the conundrum for black people. We either start sending our boys to trade schools, because here's the numbers. They're not going to college, and they're not even in trade school right now. What are they doing? They're floating. We're the only community that cannot allow our young black men to float. We're the last community that can allow our young men to float. Our young men have to go be productive. I just finished washing my car. Went to go vacuum it real quick. A group of young men came out, smelled like a weed stack. And I looked at them and I'm like, if an officer pulls you over, I can't even fight for you right now. Y'all doing this silly stuff. You're doing the most. It's still illegal. You're sagging twice. Boys had on 3 pairs of shorts. Why do you have on 3 pairs of shorts to sag in 2025? Sir, we can't do all the stereotypes. And I'm not leaving the young women out. If you're walking around looking like Sexy Red with a bonnet on, with the nails, I can only do so much for you. You may look at me with the hat and say, that's ridiculous. I'm looking at you with a bonnet on and nails that are down your ass. That's ridiculous. I'm not going to get into respectability politics, but I want you to understand, I'm okay with you looking like that as long as you go own some land. You can do anything you want on your land. Can you do it at the apartment complex they own? No. Can you do it at the rental property your landlord own? No. Now, I'm going to show a video in part 2. It was a woman moved into a duplex that was 2 bedroom, 2 bath with her 4 kids. 6 months later, the landlord had to kick her out. Why is he having to kick her out? Because she had 16 kids in the house and 2 other adults. Now, I'm pretty sure 16 kids and 3 adults, what happened is she had brothers and sisters. I think one was a man, that was her brother, another one was her sister. And they lost their jobs or they lost where they could stay. When you got 16 kids and 3 adults, y'all should be on a farm. Y'all should be in the country. Y'all should be outside the city limits. Here, because that's where they can live. Why dare you tell them to leave? They're mad at Ben Shapiro right now because he told them the truth. If you can't afford the city you're in, you need to leave. And that's what the young people are doing. They're leaving because they cannot afford to stay in these cities. If you don't have a trade, if you don't have skilled, I don't care if you're a waiter. I don't care if you're a bartender. I'm talking about, can you fix a roof? Can you fix electrical? Can you watch the YouTube video and put it together? There's a video I'm going to show in part 2. It's a black couple in Baltimore. They bought one of those houses in Baltimore for pennies on the dollar. And they got pregnant. And the girl and him are fixing electrical and the roofing and the drywall. They're doing it all themselves. If more black people could do work like that, these cities like Baltimore, these hood spots in Birmingham, Alabama, Atlanta, hoods near the airport, these rough places in parts of Orlando, Florida, and parts of other parts of Florida, they would be fine because you could fix something. If you can't fix something, you are already useless. If you can't do money, you can't do stocks, you can't do finance, you can't talk properly, you can't get on the phone. And I don't mean properly, I'm talking about on a phone call, can you handle yourself professionally? You don't control the media. I'm not talking about tap dancing online. I'm talking about control the media. And when I mean control the media, you own the studio. You own the rights to your stuff. You can't do these things in society. It is very difficult. Now you're going to say, Erica, what about racism? I get you on all that. But if you don't have all the things I listed, you can't fix anything. You can't build anything. You can't buy anything. It gets real difficult. And they're going to make it get even more difficult in the next 5 years. Y'all going to be living out in Kalamazoo. Y'all going to be past making. You're going to be in the woods in tents and broke down cars telling me what's going on. If you got 16 kids and 3 adults in the house, even if those 3 adults all worked at Burger King 40 hours a week each, they should be able to afford something. Okay? 16 kids, y'all need your tubes tied. And you need to live out in the country. At that point, get a farm. Put them kids to work. All right, you guys. I've trolled enough. I hope y'all have a great day. And I should probably be do our training for our Digital Liberty Warriors tomorrow. I'll do our land grab live training tomorrow. And God bless you. Good luck out here. If you're trying to talk to me about anything other than land, I don't got much for you. If you're trying to talk to me anything about owning businesses, I ain't got much for you. I want you to understand the next 5 years are going to be very interesting. I think in the part 2 video, I'm going to talk about Sean Coakley, who had a $50 million t-shirt company, t-shirt and shorts, and a knock of power. And it had 10% profit margins. So let's break it down. 10% of that is $5 million. And 2 Arabs was running his company. So he kind of walked away every year with $1 million. And most people say $1 million is a lot of money. Not really. He made more money buying 3 different homes in Houston, Texas area, flipping those homes than he did off his own company. But y'all don't understand that because y'all think y'all want to do cool businesses like t-shirt and clothes. This your girl, Erica Classy Climb. I'm going to go home and cook me some good old Korean beef. And God bless you guys. Have a great day. And we'll talk more about the land hunt and inside the land grab course. It's crazy out here. You've probably been seeing these commercials for Middleman to Millions course. What is Middleman to Millions? We're teaching so many people how to have service businesses. The upcoming year, one of the fastest growing businesses you will see are service businesses and digital businesses. Why is that? Because so many things need repairs, need maintenance, and guess what? We have a shortage of men and also women who could do things. Listen, I'm not the best with a hammer, but I know I can gather a crew of people to get things done, and that's what I've done with 2 of my service businesses. And that's what I'll be teaching if you check us out in the Middleman to Millions course. And look forward to us on the road with Digital Liberty Tour 2024. It's Erica Williams.